It's what we do. This is our artistic talents that we bring into a motorcycle. We take pieces of steel, we bend them, we cut them, we shape them, we drill holes in them, and at the end of the day we come up with a motorcycle.
This is my first time being invited to that show, the Artistry in Iron in Vegas. And basically they saw this bike I was working on that wasn't running. And they said, you should be in our show. And I'm like, you know, it's like too many shows in one time. You know, I had one going in New York last week. I'm like, there's just too many things going on. And she's like, yeah, but there's a $10,000 prize. And I go, oh, well, I'm there. So now I'm going there with this bike that's not running, but I like to say it runs, so I'm gonna try to fire it up right now, put some fuel in it, so I don't sit there in front of a bunch of people that have bikes that don't run, because that's what you see in these shows. And that's a bad thread right there, you can hear that. Nice bike. Thanks, buddy.
To design something that nobody else designs, it has to consume your head to be able to grasp what you're doing and to be able to turn something bitching out.
Before I start a bike, I sort of have an idea in my head. I've probably got 20 bikes floating around in my head at the moment, but you start with that idea that you've had, and you think that it's going to be perfect when you've got it all played out in your head. But when you actually start manufacturing the motorcycle, there will be parts that for function or for form that don't really go together. As long as I keep in with what the basic idea I have, I change stuff as it goes.
So this right here is the shop. It's just part of the shop. We have like a few different rooms. This is where all the machines are. Psst. Jesus Christ. So this is the little area where I do all my machining. I have my lathes. There's like 3 little lathes, little mini mill. I have another mill in the back room. Small and beloved shop. Can't ask for a lot of square footage for being on Melrose, and so we kind of just have to work small. All the bikes get in here at night, and in the day I have to put them underneath the tent outside so we have room to walk around. But it's very small, and that's why I feel like so attached to these bikes. It's not like a big operation here. We don't have a bunch of employees working or anything like that. Each bike is individually built with the love and care that it takes.
The first year I did Artistry in Iron, I won. Then had to go back the second year and defend my title. It was the second year I won, and now here I am again, another year later. I'm testing my luck again, and we'll see what happens. This year I wanted to do something really different that I wouldn't think anybody else would bring to the Artistry in Iron show. I had purchased a 1930 Alps sidecar. I wanted to do something different. I thought that would be my plan.
It separates the artists from the builders. There's builders who can assemble and make bikes run amazing, and then there's us who have to make all our own parts, and that's what the show is about. It's all these guys who see things in their head and actually go and do them.
So we try to blend old with new, so we like new componentry and new technology as far as, you know, like the brakes and things like that, but we'll go into older styles of bike. You know, like this bike is a cafe bike. Well, that pretty much came about in the 60s, and but we wanted to have a modern version of one.
This particular bike, I went back to the roots, 70s Swedish chopper, little digger. It's slammed on the ground. The bike, at the very top of the highest point of the bike, it comes right up to the pocket on my jeans. It's about 9 feet long overall. I kept the styling very clean, very skinny. Found a 70s lowrider painter in Whittier named David Anthony Garcia. I had never worked with him before.
This new bike of mine, I decided I wanted to use something with big wheels. So I started off with the 26-inch wheels, as you can see here. And I just wanted to build the rest of the bike around those wheels. I like the board track style of bike. As you can see, it has a board track look to it. But at the same time, I like the new componentry.
I usually leave some parts in bare metal. This one I just went ahead and did the whole bike in bare metal. A lot of planishing, a lot of hammering, banging around, trying to get this bike to be smooth. And I only do it for the guys who understand it. When they come to you, a guy comes to me and says, I weld for a living or I fabricate, good job, then I've done something right. That's what counts, the guys who understand the craft behind it.
I think a motorcycle is definitely a piece of art. The finest things throughout history have always been created by the human hand. You can go back as far in time as you want, and the most sought after things, most valuable, are things that were created by the human hand. And these bikes are kind of a lost art in a way because we pound out all the sheet metal, the frames are made. There's a lot of handwork in these bikes, and so that to me is what the art is about.
This is all about building something that has a soul, okay? So the true artistry is to take a whole bunch of parts, whether you made them, bought them, whatever, and arranging it in a package that looks like God meant it to be that way. It just came that way, it grew that way, it's organic. I mean, that's what I try and do with my bikes, and if you look around at the stuff that these guys did, they don't look like they just went and picked them up at some bike shop.
The moment you've all been waiting for, at least the builders have been waiting for. Like many bike builders, this year's winner's interests are in building, fabricating, and creating. He is passionate about his bikes, his cars, his company, and this industry. He has earned the respect of his customers and peers as a builder who does the finest work with incredible attention to detail. To take a quote from his website, "This will be the baddest motherfucking chopper in your city." The 2012 Artistry and Iron Champion as voted by his peers from Power Plant Choppers, Yanni Vivon.
I'll tell you what unites all of us in that show is we all worked on our bikes probably like, some of them like years on one bike, and you could see it in the work. And it's homemade. It's like I was telling you, you can get the homemade burger, you can get McDonald's. That's the place where you go to get the homemade stuff. And I think no matter what style this guy has or I have or the next guy has, when you see hours and like hundreds and hundreds of hours into a bike, those should be classified as a sculpture or a piece of art. It's not even considered a bike. And some of these bikes are actually good to go, 100 plus miles an hour.